Hello you all, I'm BlaqueWitchYaya. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Today's video is quite interesting and I will tell you why. But first, what we have cooking in here at the moment are a variety of crystals that I like to use to enhance my crystal dry rub and to cleanse it with the smoke. I have my Palo Santo incense right here burning on the inside that you guys can get from BlaqueWitchYaya.com. Also, if you just noticed this ice on my wrist, you can get your red carnelian, tiger's eye, and black onyx bracelets from BlaqueWitchYaya.com. And along with the crystal dry rub we will be making, which is a smoke-free, because I'm smoking it now, a smoke-free and liquid-free way to cleanse and charge your crystals. It's an all-in-one cleanser for every type of crystal. And I will be making that while I tell you guys a story about Mrs. Cider. The interesting thing is, Mrs. Cider is a subscriber. A young lady decided to email me her entire life story and different stories specifically to share with you guys, because she watches my stories and she's like, listen, this sounds like my life. But she showed me little knickknacks and photos all the way back from the 80s. Not saying the 80s was that long ago, but it was just nice to know that she had like pictures from the 80s of how she had her classroom set up, different activities they did, and all that good stuff. So that was really cool to see. And she sent me like a bunch of different stories of what she does. And she's like, share this with your people, but just don't reveal my identity, because if you let it slip, when I dip, you dip, we dip. And I'm already scared of her a little bit, so I will not be revealing your identity. So we will be referring to her as Mrs. Cider. So this story I found quite interesting just because I was a little jealous. I wish my pre-K teacher was like this, even though Miss Ramirez, you was the bomb. You're the reason why I'm good at Spanish now. But Mrs. Cider included her spiritual workings into her teaching. Now, just a little background on Mrs. Cider. She comes from the, you know, those people that just look like they do some good old magic, backwoods, voodoo. Like, you know, those people that just look like they know what they doing. Like, they just look like, girl, you probably burnt sage before you walked into this Ross. Like, you know, those type of people that just, you could feel their energy. So she comes from a family that really knows what they're doing, and she knows the power of it, and she doesn't have any shame of it. Because I know some of us, we kind of had to hide, or still hiding our spiritual side from our parents or other people, just because some people just don't seem to get it. Okay, the girls that get it, get it. And her parents got it. And she knew that she had an advantage in the world because she was able to learn it at a young age. Hence why she is the bomb diggity right now. So she wanted to make sure that she implements those skills into her kindergarten, her pre-Kers. So I titled this video, She Turned Her Pre-K Class into Witches. But of course we know witches, either you're born with it, it's already predestined for you to be it, so you are naturally born with it. But she still taught her class spiritual items and keys and all that. And if she's seen the skills within certain students, because she has the eye for, like, this person is going to be a diviner, this person is going to be a herbalist, this person is going to do, like, she could look at her students and tell like what they were going to be. So she made sure she focused on those skills while they were young to teach them, but she covered it and dressed it in some ABC 1, 2, 3, you and me, yellow, red, green type of teaching. For example, she'll be like, all right, you guys, today we are going to learn about the color pink. What is pink? Jeffrey, the rose quartz. Okay, we're going to learn about green. What is green? Jennifer, malachite, like stuff like that. So they were learning their colors but learning about crystals. So what is the rose quartz for? Love. Can someone spell love? L-O-V-E. So if you're listening outside her door, they're like, oh my god, pre-Ks are already spelling and knowing their colors and knowing what words go with the colors and all that. But little did she know, she's teaching them babies association with colors, energy, words, vibration, the power of words. What could those words correlate with? And first, before I even continue, she made sure that she had permission from the parents to do this because she didn't want to have these type of teachings if the parents weren't okay with it. So during this type of school, it was I could say it was a private school, so you kind of have authority over which teacher you want your students to have. So it was kind of a secret word around town, like, yo, you need to make sure your daughter is in Mrs. Cider class because this and that and this. So the people and the parents who were into spirituality made sure to have them in her class. So literally all her class, the parents knew what was going on, and sometimes they were able to go home and tell their parents some stuff too. So that's why they really liked it. Like, okay, while she learning, she come home and tell me. So let's just say, so they're learning the alphabet, right? So she'll tell them, all right, you guys, do you know what the alphabet is for? Then they'll have someone that says, yes, it's a group of letters that you could put together to create words. And why are words important? Because words have power. So what should you do with words? Be careful what you say. Like things like that. Of course, they're learning, and they're, to me, for 4-year-olds, if you're learning all that, baby, come teach me. And she'll say, so when you have a group of letters and you make words, what are you doing? Spelling. And why is spelling important? Because spelling is a spell. When you put words together, you're creating energy, and with that energy, it will be manifested with the intentions that you have. Basically, literally stuff like that. Like seeing her lesson plan, she would start off with, okay, they're learning numbers, and break it all the way down to, okay, numbers have frequencies. When you see 222, what's 2 plus 2 plus 2? 6. But what does 222 mean? It's a vibration that comes, and you should be aware that it, like, she'll do all of that stuff. So in the back of her classroom, of course, there was a garden. So let's just say one of the kids had an upset stomach, had a headache, wasn't feeling good. She'll be like, okay, you have an upset stomach. Do you know what herb you need? Sienna herb. Do you know what herb you need for your headache? Chamomile. And so they'll go out there and they'll make the teas for them. And during these exercises, she'll notice, like, okay, so Samantha already knew what to do with her lavender tea, and she added rose in there too, so she knows what those two do together, and she'll find their skills, and she'll basically make them captains of that certain skill. If she knew a student named Paige was really good at herbs, so when they do their experiments and do their activities in arts and craft, they'll implement herbs. So she'll be like, okay, Paige is the captain of this because she's really good at herbs, so she'll really be able to take her skills and learn more and all that stuff, right? And let's just say Susie is good at spelling. She knows how to formulate sentences very well. So during story time, listen, I would really shine during that part. During story time, she would make Susie over the story. So she'll have Susie write a story and share it with the class, and the story would have to have a certain message that led to like deeper spiritual meaning in it. But all the while, Susie is learning how to write, learning how to use her words, practicing her handwriting, and also learning spiritual concepts, and basically able to correlate them and bring them together to create a story. And you guys, of course, the parents knew what was going on. They knew, like, okay, Miss Cider, she's going to be the one to teach my child spiritual stuff. So they're going to come home with these different lessons. But none of the other staff knew it. Like, literally, they would walk in and she would still do the same lesson, but say it in a way that's very elementary. Like, she'll say, what sound does W make? What word has what? Wand. So of course, you know, the administration and the superintendents, that, you know how they come in and do their walkthroughs, they're just thinking, okay, they're just using random words. I'm not sure if this is every pre-K class, but my class had it, like a colorful rug that everybody would sit on, like during reading or show and tell. So her rug was basically different colors on the outside to represent auras, but in the middle it was a line of colors to represent the different chakras. So for PE, or just like physical exercise, she would be like, Susie, can you sit on the crown chakra? What color is the crown chakra? Pam, can you sit on the root chakra? What color is the root chakra? And then on the outside where there's different colors, during nap time, she would place their pillows on certain colors where she thought the child needed it at the moment. So Susie, I'm just saying Susie. Susie was a little shy today, so we need to bring her out some more. She needs some more confidence. She needs to, you know, speak up a little more. I'm not sure what's going on with her, so I'm going to put her pillow on the red color. Steven today was a little too crunk, so I'm going to put him on the white color so he could calm down and balance out a little bit. Or let's just say during nap time, they're not really sleepy. Guess what she'll do? You guessed it. Put some hurts on and they would meditate, and she would talk them into the meditation. Like, what is meditation for? to regain your balance and center yourself. That's how I imagine them talking. So like, to regain your balance and to center yourself. And she would just implement these tools through each class that she has. And she did that for a year. So literally she was able to see her students graduate college and know the little tips and tricks and start doing their own magic themselves. So she was really implanting it at an early age to make it easier for them to understand as they got older. And of course, sometimes the students wanted to come back and hear from her and all that good stuff, but that's one thing that she did not do. She would go to your graduation, go to your graduation party. If some of them had a baby, I'll go to your baby shower. But she told them, once you leave my class, you leave my class. It's time for you to learn different lessons. So they will come back and be like, Miss Sider, you remember how you told me that when you hold this and this like this, it means this? And she'll be like, yeah, I remember telling you, but that's a lesson you have to learn. Like, she wouldn't baby them throughout their whole time. It's like, once you leave, that's it. Go learn something else. I taught you the basics. You grow from it. Because she never want them to become like too dependent on her, where it was like, whatever you do and whatever you say, Miss Sider, your wishes might command. Arf, arf. You know what I mean? So one student that really stood out to Miss Sider, we'll call this student, we'll call her Matilda. That fits. And this student stood out because she was able to stand out in each category. Remember how I told you before that she would take what the students are good at and make them the captain of that certain category? Matilda was the only student she ever had to be able to be captains of each sections. If they were doing spells, she was a captain over the spells, but they call it the spelling team. If like administrator walked in, they just thought they meant spelling, but spell. So that's how they covered that up. If they were doing herbs that day, she was able to do herbs. If they were doing science experiments with different oils and scents, she was able to do that. She was just able to adapt to everything, and her parents were really advanced in it as well. So she would keep Matilda a little later after school, like being like, here, dress this candle. Here, what do you use this Florida water for? Her parents were so proud, like, oh my God, our baby got a gift. So she taught this girl how to basically divine, but in a kindergarten type of way. Like, she made her create her own tarot cards. Like, okay, draw the 3 of Wands. And of course, to a little kindergarten, it's just going to be 3 straight lines that are the wands. So she was able to let this child know that she has a gift without overwhelming her too much. Because, you know, a little 4-year-old, you know, they think of magic. They think of Cinderella. You know, I always love saying bibbidi bobbidi boo. So she would have her dress candles and burn them as well and be like, okay, spell something for this candle. And you know, she'll be like, fun, and she'll burn a candle for fun. Then the candle would burn white. And then she started teaching her about the different Orisha, the different gods, the different energy and all that stuff. And she would test her on it. She was like, okay, do you know who's on this candle? Oh, shoon. And so like, she would just teach her stuff like that. And what inspired her to tell me her story was my previous video about TJ and the Orishas, the gatekeeper staff, that 2-part series I did. I'll link that down below. And she was like, I feel that I'm the personified version of one of the camp counselors, because she was able to use her skills to teach her students that, and especially pour that into Matilda. So Matilda was also able to break the rules. Remember, I told you that Mrs. Sider is like, listen, once you leave my class, you leave my class. But she made sure she kept up with Matilda and is still in communication with her till this day, because she's like, listen, she was learning all this and knowing all this at a young age, an innocent soul. I wanted to make sure whoever was able to identify and see that skills in her basically didn't take advantage of her or try to convert her over to the wrong way, to use her skills and magic to the wrong way. So Miss Sider was the one to let her know, like, hey, you know, all these gifts you have, how you're able to naturally craft and create and just do all of these things, and you're just skilled in so many areas. You're a witch. With that newfound information, she kind of already figured, because she was really kicking it and killing it, but she was then able to take that identity and take that title and really utilize it. So till this day, Miss Sider and Matilda, they go to retreats together. When Matilda was younger, her parents were so happy with the skills she was developing. They had asked Miss Sider to be her godmother, so she was really able to pour into her by visiting her at home and following her. Maybe that's why she was able to break the rules, because she was like officially like her godmom. But yeah, the family was just so appreciative. And Matilda, I'll say this because Miss Sider told me the story, it's not Matilda. Matilda was able to really use her skills as a healing source for her family. I'll say that. I feel like she really took on the position and the footing of breaking generational curses, really, to the point where she was able to make a lot of impact on her family with those skills at a young age. Before the even age of 18, she was healing people, being able to speak into people, doing work for people. So she top notch. So I'm sure you guys probably saw, or maybe you have a kid that you notice that have a certain gift. Start pouring into them and make it fun for them to learn, because you know kids get bored easily, especially in the world of technology. But just make it fun for them to learn, because they could be the next Matilda. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. You guys let me know what you think down below about Mrs. Cider. You will hear a lot more from her, because listen, when I tell you this lady lived a life, she lived a life. But let me know what you guys think about Miss Cider down below. Would you allow your kid to be in a classroom taught by Miss Cider or something like it? Or do you want to be in complete control of what your child is learning when it comes to the spiritual world and the school lessons as well? But like I always say, as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. Until next time, you guys, Ashe.